Hey, this is the fun video, one of the two fun videos for chapter 26. This one is entitled, I Live Under a Rock. Now, this has nothing to do with real property or with chapter 26, but it's a fun story, so I'm going to tell it anyway. I live under a rock. I'm not talking about a little rock. I'm talking about a huge, boulder-sized rock. If there's anything about modern culture or pop stars or rock stars or rappers or TV actors or movie actors that you think everyone in the world, including your dog and cat, know, I probably don't know it because I live under a rock. I first figured this out, although I always suspected it. I really figured it out my first semester teaching here at Loyola 11 years ago. I was teaching in a large classroom, and the students were kind of distant from where the podium was. It was a bad classroom to teach in, but so the distant students were way far away. And of course, as college students, I often wear t-shirts, and those t-shirts sometimes have somebody's face on the t-shirt. So a student named Audrey was sitting in the very back row, center, and I was teaching along, and I kept looking at her t-shirt and kept thinking, who is that? Who is that? I thought it might have been the Cuban revolutionary Che Guevara. So finally, in the middle of my teaching, I just stopped and I said, Audrey, who's on your t-shirt? And I could see from her eyes she was saying, you really don't want to go there. Nonetheless, Audrey, who's on your t-shirt? I could see again, you really, really don't want to go there. So I had about 45 students in the class. So I asked the third time, Audrey, who is that pictured on your t-shirt? And she said, well, Professor Screen, that would be Bob Marley. And everybody burst out in laughter. 45 students, 90 eyeballs looking at me like, how could there be anybody who's such a troglodyte that he didn't know who Bob Marley was? And then I said the three silliest words ever spoken on Loyola's campus. I said, who's Bob Marley? Laughter again, 90 eyeballs looking at me. So I said, okay, by next class, I will have encyclopedic knowledge of Bob Marley. 8-page paper. I know everything about Bob Marley. Bob and I are this close except for the fact that he's dead. I know all about the toe cancer. I know all about the Rastafarianism. I know all about I Shot the Sheriff. I know about reggae. I know everything about Bob Marley. In fact, I'm such a Bob Marley expert that a couple of years ago I was standing in a long checkout line in a Walmart in New England, and I saw ahead of me in the checkout line about 4 people, a guy who appeared to have on a Bob Marley t-shirt. So I boldly walked right up to him and I said, sir, you're wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt. He kind of looked at me like, don't they screen the people that they let in here? But anyway, you'd think I would have learned something from that. But no, I'm teaching the accounting version of this class about 2 years later. We're talking about real estate, and I asked one of the students, one of the girls in the class, I said, what state do you want to build a mansion in? She said, I want to build a mansion in Florida, in Miami Beach. And then she said, next to P. Diddy's. So I, of course, had to say, who's P. Diddy? Laughter, eyeballs, the whole thing again. The paper, expertise on P. Diddy. My goodness, this guy, you could have a 3-hour legal course just about his legal problems. But you know what they didn't tell me? What they didn't tell me is that P. Diddy, now known as Diddy, was actually Puff Daddy from the 1990s who drove around the country shooting people in bar rooms with J-Lo. Well, I knew that. I just didn't know he had changed his name to P. Diddy or to Diddy. So that's it for Living Under a Rock. We have another fun video on chapter 26, and that's coming up.